Okay, so picture this. You finally get that new 4K game console or maybe a high-end streamer. The picture's just, it's stunning.
Right.
But then you realize your sound system, your trusty old receiver, doesn't have an HDMI port.
Oh, yeah, it's a classic friction point. We're in this weird transition phase. The video tech has just raced ahead.
And the audio gear, which is still great,
Yeah.
gets left behind. You're stuck.
Exactly.
So today we're doing a deep dive on a potential solution. It's the 4K HDMI audio converter from a company called HDTV Supply.
And our mission here is to see if this $50 gadget can actually bridge that gap without, ruining the experience.
And we read the fine print. There's some very specific technical quirks in there.
Yeah, some real gotchas that could turn this thing into a paperweight if you're not careful.
Okay, so let's start with the hardware. I mean, it's tiny, barely bigger than a deck of cards.
It is, but the first thing to note is that it has its own power supply. It comes with a DC5V plug.
So it's not just sipping power from the HDMI cable.
Right, and that's key. It makes it an active device, not a passive one. Active devices are just, well, they're way more reliable because they have their own juice to manage the signal.
That makes sense.
Hmm.
So since this is sitting right in the middle of my video chain, the big fear is, am I going to lose picture quality?
According to the specs, no. It supports 4K at 60 Hertz.
Okay.
And crucially, HDR, high dynamic range.
The thing that gives you the really deep blacks and bright whites.
That's the one. So this little box is, it's designed to be completely invisible to the video signal.
So the video passes through untouched. Now for the main event, the audio. The whole reason it exists.
Right. It surgically removes the audio from that HDMI stream and gives you two options to send it to.
You get the SPDIF optical port.
That's your digital connection.
Right.
Or the classic red and white analog stereo.
And this is where we hit the first major hurdle we found in the manual. It's about sampling rate.
This is vital if you really care about audio quality. The optical output on this unit is capped. It's limited to a frequency of 48K.
And for context, 48K it's basically standard DVD quality audio.
Yeah, exactly. It's fine for most things. But a lot of high-res audio, like from a Blu-ray, can run at 96K.
And what happens then?
That's the problem. If your source is sending out 96K, the optical port on this thing just, it can't handle it. The manual is blunt. It says there will be no output.
So it doesn't downsample it or anything. It just goes silent.
Silent. The analog ports will still work, but that digital optical just hits a wall.
Wow, that's a massive detail to know. I also saw a weird warning about the physical cables.
Oh, yeah. It says when you're using the optical audio, you should not connect the analog stereo cables at the same time.
Why is that?
It seems like it struggles to drive both outputs at once. It's an either-or situation if you want the best performance.
Got it. Okay, let's move to the troubleshooting section. I found a note about a blue tint mystery.
Huh. Yeah, it sounds like a horror movie title. But it's actually a fascinating look at how HDMI works. Users were reporting their screen just turning blue.
And the cause is something called color space.
It's a color space conflict. Yeah.
Break that down for us. What is that?
Think of it like a language. It's how devices agree on what red is, what green is, and so on. This converter has a switch for it.
And I'm guessing the auto setting doesn't always work.
You got it. If you leave it on auto or even RGB, that handshake between devices can fail, and you get that blue tint. The manual specifically says you have to manually cycle past those settings to get the richest colors.
So plug and play isn't always reality.
Not always, no.
Speaking of reality checks, there's one last quirk about the power light that I think would trick me into sending the unit back.
The LED logic,
Yes.
you plug it into the wall.
And you expect the red light to come on to tell you it has power.
But it doesn't. The red LED only lights up if the HDMI input and the HDMI output cables are connected.
So it's not a power light, it's a circuit-complete light.
Exactly. It's so counterintuitive.
So what does this all mean for someone listening? Is it worth it?
I think it is. It's a highly capable $50 bridge. It absolutely saves you from having to replace really expensive audio gear. It keeps your legacy stuff relevant. But you have to know its limits. You have to be willing to go into your settings and understand things like sampling rates and color space.
It's a tool, not magic.
Precisely.
So here's a final thought for you to mull over. We all spend hours obsessing over screen resolution, 4K this, 8K that. But when was the last time you actually checked your TV's color space setting? You might be watching a version of your favorite movie that the director never intended, all because a setting was just left on auto years ago. Thanks for listening.